Hi there, this is Cem Kapancıoğlu. Today I want to share my experience about architectural design. When I say architectural design, probably I should start with defining what I mean by architecture. Architecture is the outer shell and also the relationship of a building with its components and with the city. It was a generic definition, obviously, but it's a lot of definitions of architecture are there, but we can definitely say that it also kind of is a summary of the culture of that location. It's a very context-driven discipline, and it has a lot of science inside, a lot of art inside, and a lot of economics, sociology inside. So it's a mix and match of anything. But if you think about any other disciplines in life, most of the things, for example, medicine, has a direct effect on our day-to-day surrounding. This discipline, this art and science form, has a very direct effect on the way we live every day. From the cities that we created, it affects our daily life tremendously. So I believe it has a very broad effect in our life and broad definition. And as I told you before, the context is quite important in architectural design. So basically we can say architectural design is the designing of buildings in their context on a certain time and space. This is a very generic definition, obviously, and it changes tremendously between country to countries and person to person, the architect to architect also, and also the knowledge that the capital has also a lot of impact on the overall outcome. Now, as a process, architectural design again starts with a brief from the client. The client is the final decision maker and the final person who pays that design service and also the construction. So once the brief is installed there, the client has to select a way to select an architect so that he kind of accept a certain way of designing. Now, this could be a no-name architect, or it could be a star architect, and or he can even hire architect himself in his company. This is another method. But in any case, after this first stage, a second stage, a research has to be done. This research should be done to achieve the best out of that brief. Third, a new brief with the selected architect, with a budget and with a procurement strategy should be brought up. This is very important because this is key, because if you accept the initial brief that the client says, after the research you will come up with new information that you need to revise the brief together with the owners, with the clients, together as a team with the architect. And of course a budget has to set, or a benchmark could be set as a lump sum figure for the full project, or as you can divide it as spaces or a per square meter, per square feet basis. And along with that one, the procurement strategy should be done. When I say procurement strategy, I mean who is going to do what. Will it be ready-made systems or custom-made systems, custom-made furniture? What will be the procurement methodology? Will it be a lump sum design and build contract, or it will be a traditional way of building, design, tender, award, and construct. This is very important. And the fourth one will be after this, because you're going to just start. Up to now, you didn't really take pen and pencil and start, putting the main design decisions. With this brief, you will end up having a space program, and that space program will be the key definition of the building, one of the key definitions. And of course, after this was the fifth stage for me, is the context of that building in the city planning. It will have a different approach. It might be a small garden that you're looking, and accordingly you will change the direction of the spaces that you have, how you're going to enter the building. It's all a part of this thing. Of course, within the brief that I mentioned previously, the building, the zoning codes, the rules, design and building guidelines will of course be affect the building brief at that point. After the space programming, the context will be properly laid out, so the main decision of the building will be kind of set, and then a solid planning between the spaces of the building and the massing, the structure, the form will be kind of proposed, or options can be proposed. And then after that selection, the material selection can be finalized. See, none of these are actually linear. It's always zoom in, zoom out, you do it, but this is the process that most of the designers kind of has to follow, because you have to achieve that stage. And then once these all come together, the visuals, whether by hand sketches or recently the technologies affecting everything around us, probably 3D perspectives, renders with 3D Max, you name it, with a lot of programs could be rendered, and enough content can be created. Once the content is created, now you need to present it as a one of the most key elements of this design process will be the presentation, where we're going to have the PowerPoint presentation, probably hard models, videos, and virtual reality experiences. After this one, of course, once the presentation is done, the concept approval and the final budget revision will be one of the main stages of going forward to start building. After that one, the schematic design will come, where you start putting more information from different disciplines and start developing the design. And then the later stage will be the detailed design, where you're gonna kind of make the scale going smaller to spot details, system details, all around the building. And then of course you have to pack up the specification and BOQ, bill of quantities. You need to specify each and every element and system and building material that you're going to use along with the system. And in some cases a CSI type of specifications are used that are showing the interfacing between materials and systems also. And together with that one, as a probably going to be a big part of the tender process, is the bill of quantities, which gives each trade with its definition, quantity, and probably the target price that you want to achieve. Of course, this was a traditional way of explaining architectural design in a nutshell. In many ways now there are different ways of doing this, which is called BIM. It's the building information modeling, and there are a lot of tools for this one, like Revit. Of course, this if you're going to use something, a if you're going to use a method like that for your architectural design, which most of the architects now use, you have to be in the right scale and in the right market for this, so that your suppliers and subcontractors are all part of this. Or alternatively, you have a good BIM management, so that you set the right level of details in the beginning, and later on you know how to use this tool in a right way, so that you can actually extract all the information that I just mentioned you, and even keep things more organized and even more effective. But of course, you need to be sure that your team has been trained accordingly. I think this is what I can say in a nutshell in terms of architectural design process. But I think what can be also added here as a final thing is that this process also changes to architect to architect and from client to client. If the client is an advanced client where he has his procurement team and his design department, he can also put the rules from the beginning. But at the end of the day, whoever and however you are doing it, you have to achieve these stages in one way or another. I hope this video will be helpful, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to message me. Thank you very much.